Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickel is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Psychic Hour. Happy Wednesday to everybody, and we have the wonderful Stephen Spur that we will be talking to in a little bit, asking him questions, asking him about his story. So if you want to ask some questions later on, we take questions towards the end of the show, so you can just drop them down or stay with us and be live and ask. And so, yes, gosh, last day of August, yowza, last day of August is just, I blinked in August is done. I keep talking about it, but it's true. Welcome. The topic of the show today, because we always kind of just talk about a spiritual inspiration, spiritual consideration, is really having our individual gifts. And that can be said sprinkled throughout all of life. We all have individual gifts, some that we're born with, some that we develop, some that are thrust upon us. There's these spontaneous ways and there's these like slow and developed ways, or there's the immediate ways where, again, it just comes to us and we were born with it. So there's nothing spontaneous about it. It's just who we are and what we choose to do with those series of gifts. Like, we're all such multifaceted human beings. And I think that sometimes, we forget that or we celebrate it, right? And everywhere in between. And it's kind of funny because if you think like of your hero in the world, whether it's like a sports star or an actor or, a mother or father, just someone you can think of that you really look up to and admire. And there's these certain core qualities of who they are. Or maybe they're really talented at a couple things where you're like, wow, they're the fastest runner I know, or they're the most talented artist. Could be a bunch of different reasons. And then you kind of just see them as a whole person if you can. And it's just, who are they beyond those gifts? They're a soul, and they're a soul with so many other gifts besides that, whether they welcome, know about them, or that they utilize them. And to think about our own selves, like how many things that do people know us for, but they don't know us for a multitude of other things, whether it's a gift that we're hiding or a gift that just really doesn't come to the surface in typical conversation. I'm so much more than just a psychic medium, even though being a psychic medium is really awesome and it touches, you to your soul. I think a lot more than some jobs, out here on earth. So that's a pleasure. That definitely always puts a smile on my face. But yeah, like I'm a wonderful cook. I like poetry. I like to write. I don't do it enough. See, these are the important conversations. I love to I used to make movies, and edit them in various forms, whatever the medium was, whether it was a camera, a phone, or I love visual artwork. I love visual composition, and I'm a big fan of editing. But I don't really dabble in that anymore, but I used to do some photography. It's just what parts of ourselves, do we know and or are yet to come. And it's just that's why what life is so exciting. That's why the beauty of life is ever unfolding, because we have a chance to do more. And time is so precious. It really is. And what are we going to do with the time that we're given? And I kind of talk about the concept a lot, that sometimes we're just going and going, and we're living our daily lives, and we're kind of just like, running, right? Talk about kind of that concept. And it's true. We are an amalgamation. We are a, collection of our patterns. And we have our patterns to wake up in the morning and do A, B, and C. And how often do we mix it up? How often are we fully living with the courage or creativity or flexibility of our spirit? Um, how often do we make time for those things with the time that we are given? Good afternoon, Jamie, and good afternoon, Jeremiah. Thank you for coming. And we have to fit it in, right? We have to fit it in. We have to make time to schedule in sometimes that wonderful dinner or that walk or meeting an old friend. We have to pencil it into our calendar. We have to pick up the phone, or we have to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. Maybe text somebody we haven't texted in 5 years, because maybe we have to heal something, or maybe it's an important just inspiration to have that communication, whether it's within our soul's calling of what we're supposed to do, our soul's talents. We have to break free of the mold of our daily patterns, our weekly patterns, our monthly patterns, and live by the spirit and live by the soul, because there's so much more at play. Life is so multifaceted, but sometimes we don't jump into that world. We don't jump into all the reasons of what makes it wonderful. And I always, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I always invite people, because I know people who want to do things. I know people want to do things and they're like, I'm limited, or I'm strapped for cash, or it's not a good month to do that. That's life, that's life. And those are some limitations. We have limitations within this life that we do have to work and flow with. And there's so many things that can be done with, I guess, as little or no money. And it's like, make a list of those. Let yourself be free. Let yourself be free in the creativity, even of finding those things. Um, when I was younger, and if I didn't have, a lot of options, I would actually like call up places or look for opportunities, and I'd just be like, do you offer discount? Do you offer discounts? Are there any special days where there are discounted tickets, or free shows? Like, if I wanted to do something, that's if I really wanted to do something. If I wouldn't do that for everything, but if I really wanted to do something, or if I felt it was right in my soul, I'd get as creative as possible as I could to meet that moment wherever I could. And sometimes, sure enough, there is one extra ticket no one used, or sure enough, right, someone else is going to the show and they invite you along too, or with the points that you have, like, in some credit card or whatever, something you're a part of, you get a free this or a free that. It's life listens. Life is, the spirit world listens, and we are also connected to each other. That's the important thing. Talk about, the different gifts of who we are. Hello, Jessie Cat. Nice to see you. And Renee and Rob, talk about the different gifts we have. We're all so connected on a psychic level. We absolutely are. Like, you know, this is just a theory that I have, but I do think that since we're so connected on the psychic level with, our family, our friends, even people we are thousands of miles away from, um, there's almost like a hive mind kind of connection that can be at play. Not that we're, all connected, not making our own choices. We absolutely are, but there's somewhat centralized connection where we all influence each other, inspire ourselves, and we can pull from the same imaginational this realm of thoughts and feelings and considerations. And it's really powerful. And I think people who have very strong psychic gifts can really tap into how they are so connected with other people. And you can use that part of your gifts. And then there's other people who are really tapped into the spiritual realm, whether it's the angelic realm or um, sometimes the elemental realm, or with past loved ones. And everyone has various degrees of experiences of belief of how they connect to this, or just personal experience, right? And there's so many messages all around us, whether it's from our higher selves and our spirit encouraging the next person, smiling at someone on the streets, or being inspired to say something to another person that you just happen to see today, whether it's one word, one sentence. That is the soul rising up through the psychic connection and saying, hey, I want to smile at you today, or I just felt compelled to say this. And it could just be a simple compliment, like I'm saying, or just for people who have gifts where they're really in touch with spirit and they're inspired to help somebody, whether they feel somebody in the room, or they feel a grandmother or a father even coming forth to acknowledge that, smile at this person, or just say a word or a sentence. My, I guess, inspiration for this talk is just whatever your gifts are, right? Whether they're unfolding, he's been with you since birth, or they're coming from left and right, and you're like, I'm taking this how this happens, right? We're slowly developing. We have so many different ways how we can interact and improve and learn and be a part of this life in a present manner. And just with all those options at play, have fun, open yourself up to something greater than yourself, whatever that is, with prayer, with meditation, whatever guidance. If you want to start to play with more than who you are, or you're not sure about what you want to do next with your gifts, if you want to shake up your patterns, if you want to expand who you are, because there's that next step. And I promise you, those individual gifts that you have, whether they've been with you or starting to sprinkle up to the surface, they'll start to sparkle. They'll start to shine. They'll start to catch your eye, catch your ear. You'll catch a feeling, and it's going to lead you into the right place. And you'll find the right teacher if you seek it too as well. So many gifts. And so many teachers of so many different walks of life and paths. We are not the same, but we are so very much the same. And just please think and know on that. So we're going to take a break. I want to say hi to Anna. I'm going to say hi to Mukfuk. Hello. Oh, Mary Kay. Hello, Mary Kay. And remember, later on, we're going to be taking questions with Steve. So if you want to pop down any of your questions about the spirit world or development, or an individual question about Steve's life, just pop it down. We will be back, everybody. See you in a moment. Talking to Steve.
If you're a fan of the paranormal world, then you'll love WLTK-DB Talk Radio. Talk shows bringing you the latest on everything paranormal, cryptozoological, metaphysical, true crime, psychic readings, and more. The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.
The station mobile app is finally here and ready for you to download free. With the app, you can listen to past shows, view upcoming live shows, read our blog, and even shop. Get yours today at the App Store and Google Play under WLTK-DB Talk Radio. Stay connected and informed. WLTK-DB Talk Radio mobile app. It's yours. Go get it. Come see our new station shop for some amazing top quality merchandise. There is something for everyone, like blankets, electronics, clothing, and much more. Head on over to WLTK-DB.com and click shop to show your support by sporting our logo. The WLTK-DB Station Shop at WLTK-DB.com. Paranormal talk is our business, and business is good.
Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to the show. We're going to bring Steve in. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Kelly. How in the hell are you?
I can only smile and laugh. I love it. I'm doing hella good. Thank you for asking me. How are you doing?
Love your energy today.
Thank you. I love your energy. You have me smiling with that. I've never had someone ask me it quite that way on the show, so I'm already loving it.
It's a cowboy thing.
I love it.
Just like when my granddaughter said, why do we say howdy? Why do you say howdy to people, G-Paw? So it's just a cowboy thing, I tell her.
Well, let's say howdy to everybody listening, and I'm going to give you an intro so everybody knows from the start who you are a little bit. Steve Spur is the cowboy psychic hailing from the South state of Texas. He's a straight shooting, there you go, psychic medium with a down-to-earth approach and a knack for healing messages. Welcome again, Steve. I love it. Oh my gosh. So I always go from like kind of the top. I shoot from the hip. What are you up to currently in your work, in your life? What has got your attention?
If I was to tell somebody, I would say, don't worry about the outside factors that are going on in the world right now, the politics, all the problems, the world climate crisis, everything. Just kind of focus on yourself and what's within your 10-foot radius, and try to see how you're kind of acting. We're all kind of actors in this movie. I believe in reincarnation. I believe we have a soul group, and before we come down here, we're passing out scripts. We look at it, and we're playing our role that we're supposed to play to learn our life lessons. So I think if you just kind of pull yourself back together and just focus on what you want to do today and the next day, kind of to be here now, like that book, I think you're going to be right in focus. I believe everybody's on their path. You know, everyone always asks, you know, am I on my path? I think you are. You might be paused, though. Okay. So the more that you're focused on what's going on now, I think it just lets you go down that path a lot easier.
Absolutely. Do you feel like you're your own stuntman too? Besides,
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And I believe I believe in free will. The only things I think are set in stone are birthday. You're not born 1 second before your time. You don't die 1 second before your time. Those two things are set in stone at the goalpost. And then we have free will to go off script. And that's usually our ego that screws it up. Okay. I'm sure I wouldn't have had to learn these lessons if my ego would have just let it go and learn the lessons. And so I can learn unconditional love and forgiveness and things like that. But it's going to take me another couple 100 lives.
Wait, so you're saying you haven't, got the drift this life? You don't think?
No. Your ego gets in the way. Okay. So,
for sure.
I mean, I'd be a whole lot further down. Advice I would give to any 20-year-old now, I'm 62. I'd say pay it forward. Start paying it forward as soon as you kind of come to the fact that, oh shit, there really is a heaven. Okay. We really do reincarnate. This really does make a difference, you know? And now I just want to pay it forward is so far in advance that maybe I'm going to have an easier life next time. I always ask my guides, hey, when am I going to get a breather life? And there's this long pause, and I'm going, oh shit, this is it. This is my take a breath life, you know. So it's but they don't give you more than you can handle in this lifetime.
Absolutely. What are some of I don't know if you were joking completely, but like you said, this is your take a breather life. So what has happened,
This is,
Steve?
oh man, I'm going like, so my story, what I tell people, I was raised in the Methodist church. I dropped out in high school. I was an atheist. Okay, I was a cowboy. I don't couldn't care less about people, horses and animals. The only things I cared about. Okay, um, working at the racetrack for 15 years with thoroughbreds and quarter horses. All right.
Wow.
When I was 33, I came back home for a summer to help my parents move out of their house. It was in Fort Worth, Texas. The temperature was like, 100 just regular, but up in the attic it was like 120. I was covered in sweat. I'm giving stuff out of the attic to my dad. I passed out and had a heat stroke and fell out of the hole in the attic and let it on my head on the concrete. So he took me to the hospital. I was there for 3 days. It was a severe concussion. Lost my memory. Lost short-term memory. Lost long-term memory.
Wow.
Just everything. So slowly, after they released me, I was getting all of my memories back. Well, after about 3 or 4 weeks, I started hearing voices and seeing spirit. Okay. And I thought all this stuff that I believe in now was just crap. Okay. I wouldn't have believed it. I love it when someone comes up to me and says, I think you're just full of shit. I'm going like, yeah, that's the way I was. Wait till it happens to you, brother. And
Right.
I mean, I started hearing voices. I started hearing music in the next room when there was no, from classical to country to classic rock. I'm going like, what in the hell is going on with me? This lasted for about 7 years. I thought I was a functioning schizophrenic. I would actually be waiting in the line at the grocery store and see a spirit behind somebody. And I'm just going like, wow, that's
Wow.
interesting. Okay. And I would hear voices and I would be waking up by voices at night. And so finally, when I didn't get married till I was 40, I was a long time bachelor. Had the racetrack. That's all I needed. When I met her, before I proposed, I had to tell her about this thing that was going on with me because who wants to marry a schizophrenic, right? And she goes, oh no, that's a gift. I think you have a gift that
Wow.
God gave you. So the next week, she said, hey, there's a psychic fair in Dallas. Do you want to go? I'm going like, why the hell not? So I went to a medium for the first time, knocked my boots off. Okay. Brought both of my grandfathers in, told me what their names was, told me what they did for a living, told me what I did for a living. I was working at a business office at the airport at that time. I mean, just blew my mind. And then he said, you're also a medium. Did you have some type of accident or something? I said, I don't want to be a medium though. Okay. I want the voices to stop. So it wasn't long after that I got introduced to John Edward, and he had a TV show at the time. And I was going like, this guy's the greatest in the world. I don't believe he can talk to dead people though. I don't think anyone can. But that was the gift that I was given. So I started going to some psychic medium circles to learn how to turn off the voices and how to turn it off because it was literally almost 24/7. I couldn't even sleep at night without someone, a spirit coming in and talking to me and keeping me up and things like that. So my whole goal was just to turn off the gift, turn off the skill that I had to talk to dead people because I couldn't see any use in it. I thought it was like a parlor trick. Who cares? So you can talk to dead people. What do they got to say? So, and it wasn't until I advanced and I'm kind of studying this subject pretty good that also I learned how to meditate and talk to my spirit guides because I want to know who the hell's running this show. Okay. And so I'm asking my spirit guides, why the hell is this happening to me? And they just put it real simple and real slow, like explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old country country cowboy. Let me explain it to you real slowly. If you were driving down the road and you saw a woman and a kid on the side of the road and their car was stuck in the mud, would you pull over and help them? I said, well, sure I would. Sure. I said, I'd help and hook them up and pull them out of the mud. And they said, why would you do that? I said, it's the right thing to do. And so they could get back on the road and go where they're supposed to go. And they said, exactly. That's what you're doing with me. That's what you can do with mediumship. People are stuck in the mud after someone has died and they're suffering from grief and pain and suffering. And you're going to help pull them out of the road so they can get on down the highway with their life. So I'm going like, well, shit, they got me. Okay. So after that, I started learning from the best mediums that I could learn from. And I was the type that when I was at the racetrack, I worked for among three Hall of Fame racetrack trainers, horse trainers. So if I was to go train on my own, I would take a little bit of each one of theirs recipe. Okay. And that's what I've done with all the medium teachers that I've had. And I always say there's no bad mediums because sometimes you'll learn, well, I'm never going to pull that. Okay. That sucks. All right. I'm never going to do that to somebody or whatever. But I would take the best from every medium that I ever studied with, and I can compile it into my deal. So my goal was I didn't give a damn about what anyone thought about me. Still don't. Okay. So when spirit comes through and they're smoking a joint and drinking a glass of Jack Daniels and cussing their head off, I'm going to relay it verbatim. Okay. They probably wouldn't allow me to read in England. Okay. They would kick me out because I'm going to tell them exactly what, if your parents were prejudiced and bigots, I'm going to tell you, that's how they sound like. So I kind of like tell it like it is, because I think if you change that up anyway, you're going to think, oh, that's not my dad, or that's not my mom, or that's not my uncle. And when they start cussing or telling you something that nobody else knows, and I'm on the evidential medium, and I'm going like, tell me what grandma's little dog's name is. Okay. So I can knock their socks off. They're going like, shit, this might be real. Okay. And then knowing that you can't die and that there is a heaven, it doesn't even matter if you're an atheist, if you're an agnostic, if you believe in heaven, if you believe in reincarnation, it doesn't matter. But these people that you love are somewhere else in the universe. And I believe it's a dimension that shares our dimension on Earth, but it's like a paper thin two-way mirror, and they can see and hear everything. So that's my story, and that's how I started out, and that's why I do what I do.
I love it. Yeah, just you went straight through it. How did you, because you said this happened to you at 33.
Yeah.
How did you start to change? You said it took 7 years until you started kind of like exploring.
I started studying it and actually went to a medium and circled and started, seeing how this works, how this mojo works, and it just really surprised me, to know that you got a guardian angel on the other side. I thought I was bulletproof. I mean, I thought I was going to die at 25. I thought I was going to die at 30. I didn't think I'd live to 40. I was working my guardian angel's ass off like crazy. Okay. He looks like a big WWE wrestler with cut off sleeves and big bulky biceps and stringy sweaty hair, and he worked I apologized to him every morning I get up. I said, I'm so sorry, because I've had so many possible near death experiences, and I just worked him to death. But knowing that wow, we got angels that look over us, and we gave in my you have a master guide, and he calls other guides to help you. In my case, before we came down here, we had a birth plan. We had a plan that we wanted to experience these things that would evolve our soul. And basically, it's to learn the Buddha stuff, the Jesus stuff, unconditional love, forgiveness, patience, all the good things that you can think about. and mine was written hastily in a bar in heaven before I came down here. And before I sobered up and saw what I signed up for, there you go. Okay. So everyone has a life plan before you come down here. You're allowed to go off track and off script, but that takes the long route though, instead of taking the short. Some people are sign up for the double loop roller coaster, and some just do the little mini roller coaster that it's going to be a lot more fun. You're going to learn more stuff and you don't have to worry about crapping your pants upside down in the roller coaster. So I think just knowing that and learning that you can't die if you wanted to, that you go on somewhere else. Now, you can't take your money with you. You can't take the trophies with you. So what are you going to take? Memories. Okay. And what kind of memories do you want? The fun memories, the ones where you were laughing, the ones that you spent with your loved ones that are the most precious to you. So that's why you want to pay it forward. That's why you want to help your friends and family out and have fun in this life.
Absolutely, absolutely. You got me curious though, because you have a love for horses and you worked so much with horses. What was your experience when this was just like blown open, right, for you when you were around 33? Of how did your relationship with horses change? How did
Well,
your relationship with
and
management?
and I always had it. So I always believed animals had souls. And I tell people, any animal that dreams, you watch your dog on the couch running after a rabbit and moving his legs, the horses in the stalls that are laying down are galloping and whinnying and doing. So I knew animals had souls. Okay. And I wouldn't go to any place like heaven that wouldn't allow animals. All right.
Yeah.
So I know they're on the other side. But when I started, like after that accident, I could see people's auras, and I could see dogs' auras and horses' auras, and every animal, whether it's a little hamster or a little parakeet, they have a personality. They have an individual personality, and that is in your aura. That is part of your soul. Every soul's different, just like every person's iris is different. Everybody's fingerprint is different. Every people has a different frequency that they're attuned to. And I would just get the most. I mean, my horses started doing better because I started listening to them. And if they didn't want to be rubbed with the hard brush, I wouldn't rub them with the hard brush. Whatever they wanted, I'd make their day. And I started winning so much more money as far as winning purses, and I got a percentage of that. And I was going like, wow, what a great game. But eventually, I had a Hall of Fame trainer tell me, there's a key, Steve, to every horse that you're going to work with. It's your job to find that key. So when I started dealing with people, I was going like, wow, there's no difference, is there? Everybody has their own key, depending on however their intelligence and their personalities are. Everyone has a key. Okay. And that has to do with what you brought down in your soul. A lot of people don't realize, even people in your own soul group of about 25, 30 people, might mean your parents, brothers and sisters, your best friends, certainly some of your favorite teachers that you had in high school and junior high and stuff that you remember. They all came into your life for a purpose. Okay. It's to evolve your souls, to get you to thinking. Not everyone in the soul group, though, is on the same level. Okay. You might be in college while I'm in second grade, Kelly. Okay. So I hope to attain to your level and hope to learn that kind of love and stuff, but it's not necessarily so. So you just got to see people for what they are and say, hey, it's okay that they're not as advanced as you, or they're more advanced than you. Okay.
Yeah, there's so many overlapping schools, I think too. Like, maybe I'm a preschooler at, I don't know, hearing spirit, but maybe I'm in college
Exactly.
at seeing spirit.
Right. Exactly. Everybody has a different, and I believe everybody's born psychic. Okay. Some are naturals, like the pianist and the artist, And then some like me had to learn from everybody and read every single book until I get to the level that I was comfortable with.
Do you feel like there's a possibility that maybe we're born mediums, but we have something blocked off? Or do you think that it's an unfoldment? Do you think
I do.
that's the
I do
okay.
think that. And I think women are a lot more psychic and a lot more mediumship because just because they're raised that way. Like a woman, you can have woman's intuition, and always everyone always listened to grandma when she said, "I have a bad feeling about this," and for some reason, and I think women are more open and more advanced and more feeling. They're more sensitive. They can feel more things. Look how many gay mediums there are, men, gay mediums. It's because they can straddle both sides of the fence, feminine and masculine. I learned my feminine side from listening to animals and horses. So that's how I got to be sensitive like that.
Absolutely. I think like this world definitely nurtures that within women. And so, we have a chance to work with that a little bit more sometimes. And it is so interesting how many gay people are in the spiritual industry. And it's really interesting, I think, too, with the connection of point of we have so many lives, we lived through so many genders,
Every
right?
color, every race, every gender. You've experienced everything, believe it or not. My wife's a past life regressionist,
Wow.
among other things. She was regressed 16 times. I was in 8 of those lives. I wasn't a male in all those lives. Okay. And sometimes we were clergy and sometimes we're religious. Everyone thinks they were someone famous. The 2 lives that I was regressed to, I was a no-name cowboy at about 15, 16 years old. So, and I know I've been a horse thief in at least 2 or 3 lives and been hung for it too. But I was a good horse thief till I got caught. Okay. That's important. So at least I learned a good skill, that would make me survive in one lifetime at least.
And is it just, a perpetual love for horses? You took the
I
good
think
with it.
so. I think so. And working with animals and pets. Now, I believe all pets reincarnate too, but unlike some Buddhists, I believe dogs come back as dogs, horses come back as horses or zebras, elephants and all. And
Yeah.
that's what the instinctual stuff is. That's why the baby antelope, rises up from the ground after 2 minutes. That's why dogs are so, they hear a rattlesnake for the first time and they're going like, "Whoa, time out, danger," because they've lived 100 lives where they've experienced that before.
I think there's like a strong ancestral link to groups of animals. I do think there's like a strong chain that is swirling to keep that so strongly, that instinct and those learnings. That's
Exactly.
really interesting. So you keep talking about some awesome points with like your wife. So past life regressionists, you told her right before you
She's a
proposed, you
tarot,
had a
a tarot master. She's a Reiki master. She heals. She does astrology. So I really lucked out that she was so
yeah.
open minded because she was raised Baptist. That no dancing, no everything's a sin. Bible thumping Baptist type deal. So it doesn't matter. I try to tell my clients, it doesn't matter if you go to church. It doesn't matter if you believe in God. He believes in you. You're going to the other side regardless, and you're going to meet up with your loved ones. It's just how it works.
Did you know that she did all these things
Oh, no, no,
when
no, no. She didn't. When I started studying mediumship, she started doing different things
okay.
and reading about past lives. And she said, "I don't want to come back. I don't want." Who the hell does? But we signed up for this because my personal belief is that if me and you live to be 100 years old, when we die, we'll get to heaven and we'll look at our watch and it will only seem like we've been gone 2 weeks. So
For
everybody
sure.
in our soul group, everyone's there. And after about a week, we're pretty bored in heaven. They're going like, "Let's go down again. Let's do it again." Okay. It's
Yeah.
just like It's just like we're shooting a movie, basically. And so kids that have told me that have lived to 11 or 12 and they come through, they're saying, it was like 2 nights sleep, and then I'm back in heaven and I got to see everybody. Now, I may stay up in heaven and wait 3 weeks till everyone in the soul group shows back up and then come back down. I had one 20-year-old boy that I was bringing through for his girlfriend. And I'm saying, so are you going to wait for her? And then y'all are going to do this again? He goes, oh, hell no. I can get in at least one more life or 2 more lives before she crosses over and comes to heaven again. So he knows what it's about. It's about playing in the game, getting in the game and playing it so you can learn the skills and you can evolve your soul.
Do you believe that the spirit is possible to like bilocate? So part of us could be in heaven and a part of us could be here.
I think we're in heaven right now.
Okay, I got you.
I think probably over 60% of our higher self, our soul is in heaven right now. And we're down here with about 20% of our energy playing this role. And every night we go to sleep, we hook back up with our higher self. We talk to our spirit guides. We talk to all the people above them. Am I doing this right? How are we playing this out? I also believe that there might be another Kelly Brickel somewhere else in the earth, and you're a man in Russia right now in a bunker making decisions for the military. It doesn't matter. I believe that I have another persona as a Buddhist monk in Thailand right now, because under regression, I named the temple that he was in and the city in Thailand. And I'm a cowboy. I don't know anything about Thailand or temples and the name of the temples and the street that it was on. And as soon as I came out and she told me that, I said, bullshit. Went on the internet. Oh my God, there's a city named that in Thailand. Oh my God, there's a temple named that in Thailand. Oh my God, there's a street in front of that temple that was. So I'm going like, shit, I hope I'm having a better life there than I am right here. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just like, the interconnectedness and the way that the realities overlap or are connected. It's just, is it a matter of space, time, or both? Right?
And I think sometimes some of your dreams are actually past lives. I collect crystals. I have one crystal that I put by my bed, and I swear to God, it would show me a past life every night in Technicolor, in 4K. It would just blow my mind. I had to move it back into my office because I couldn't get any sleep. I was just seeing so many past lives. I think that when we dream, sometimes we see a past life or a possibility that maybe there are other realities in this world right now, and we're dreaming about another realistic thing that's happening somewhere else in space and time while we're dreaming.
I dream the weirdest stuff. Like, I'm kind of concerned.
And it's not about living a perfect life. I used to say, hey, if I pay it forward so far in my next life, I'm going to be the Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. And then I thought, how selfish is that? If I'm just that Buddhist monk in a temple in the east, and I have at least a bowl of rice every day, and can work on myself and being the best version of myself that I can, and learn how to meditate and try to get to nirvana, I'm going like, hey, that's something to shoot for. Okay.
Yeah. It's just like, I think the whole thing is, if you can get out of the village and spread it, right? There's in every single life, there's these considerations that we're given, even if we focus on enlightenment.
Exactly.
If I may ask too, you're making me kind of remember something I remember you posted a long time ago. Are you talking about that stone, like the zozite?
Yeah. That green and red stone. Yeah.
That's a really nice stone.
Yeah.
Just a good hunk of rubies in there.
I tell people, and it's just, when I go in to a rock store that has crystals and minerals and stuff like that, it just blows my mind. It makes me feel so good. It's like drinking 3 Mountain Dews. Okay. I mean, I am wired when I go in there. And when I pick out a crystal, the crystal actually picks me out. I'll pick one up and it'll be like an Energizer battery. And I'm going like, oh
Wow.
shit, I'm going to put this on the edge right here and come back to it. And I'll practice touching some more. And when I come back to it, I'm going like, this is the one. And this is how you meet one of your soulmates too. Okay. Uh, I met PJ when I was 40 on an online dating deal. Turns out we were in the same city, lived in the same city 3 or 4 times. Um,
Wow.
lived on the same block when we were in elementary school. I mean,
Wow.
when I was in New York, she was in New York. When I was in LA, she was in LA. I love independent movies. When I was living in Fort Worth, she was going to Dallas and going to the Angelica and saw the same movie. So I could have run into her at any given time along my timeline, but it just happened when I was 40.
Wow. So yeah, you were wow, like the threads of energy were
Exactly.
just
So
dancing the same.
I think everything happens for a reason. I don't believe there's any chance, any possibility. I think it happens for a reason. So even if you have a divorce or you break up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or what you considered your soulmate, they came into your life to teach you something about yourself or to evolve your soul, and then another teacher rotates in. Okay. So I think you have 3 or 4 soulmates in this. And one of them might be like after my grandfather died at 16, he was my John Wayne. Well, there was an ag teacher that kind of took his place. When I went to go work at the racetrack, there was a trainer that was just like John Wayne, just like my
Wow.
granddad, that would, made me stand up for myself and made me start because I was such a shy guy in standing up for myself and learning, and growing. So I don't believe in any coincidences. Random people don't die just for no reason at all. You can't learn grief and pain and suffering in heaven. We got to do it here, okay? Along with a lot of other emotions and stuff. So we're just if you start thinking about your life and think about hindsight 2020, what have you learned so far? If you could watch your whole life out as a movie and go through it, like you're on Netflix, you're going like, oh, that was interesting. That may be why that happened. A lot of shit we're not going to know till we die and we're in heaven. We're going like,
Right.
oh, now I know the rest of the story. That's why that. Okay, I understand it now, but we're not meant to understand it. We're just meant to play it.
We're just yeah. Hey, just we give it our best shot, right?
That's
And
all you can do. And
some people
and even if we might be the bit player, we might be the pawn in somebody else's game in our soul group, and we're just a bit player. We're just supposed to boost them up a little bit so they'll get somewhere else. Not meaning that our life doesn't have any meaning this time, but we weren't the main focus, and we were aware of that when we came down here. Now I think that my only purpose in life is to elevate my 2 granddaughters. One of them may cure cancer. One of them may do something, find some healing technique that's going to save the world. I don't know, but that's why I'm paying it forward because I've kind of done everything that I wanted to do in this life.
wow. So, do you want to come back?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Everything. I'm going to be more careful when I sign my life contract, though. I'm not going to be drunk.
You probably said that the last time though.
Yeah,
I'll be more
the last
careful this
time.
time.
I mean, my spirit guide pulls out his wallet and shows me the napkin that I was in the bar that I signed. I'm going like, are you serious? You're going to make me do all that? So the next time I want it typed up, triplicate. I want lawyers to go through it. And then, okay, I'll do this one. Okay.
You do raise an interesting point. I think that some people kind of just roll the dice and let's see where I land
I
up.
live this life, I think. And when Edgar Casey, in his book, all these bad things happened to Edward Casey. And he said that in his past life and when he signed this life contract, he thought that he was like every life that he had, he hadn't made enough progress. Okay. So this life in this world, he wanted to make as much progress as he could. And that's why his business is burnt down. had a child that died, had all these catastrophes happen, but he learned so much of it, okay, so much from it, and became a medium and helped other people. And that's part of paying it forward and putting and getting your points. It's almost like a video game. You're trying to get as many positive points as you can. It's you're playing the pinball machine. You want to rack up those points. I want the Buddha points. I want the Jesus points. Okay. I want them to make a difference. So I'm getting credit for that, and I can become a better soul. Not necessarily, and I am a better person in this life. I just know I can be way better the next time. Okay.
Yeah. Always growing for sure. Always growing. And, just to be compassionate with ourselves, like, because of that. I think, like, there's a lot of people go, oh, that's a good person, that's a bad person. And sometimes when you look at a good person, you're like, that, if you really want to talk about it, that person to get to that point, they've
What
done
did
a
they learn? How
lot
did
of
they learn to
stuff.
be that good? They either had to have a
Correct.
role model or they had to learn through the hard way.
Correct.
And I tell my clients, give yourself more credit. Okay. I mean, you think you've dropped the ball. You don't think you're far enough on your path and everything. I've never met anybody that was behind. They were always, forward on their path. And like if they were to die the next day, you've completed so much more stuff in this life than you thought possible. So they never give us more than we can handle, and we're always getting extra credit in this life. So just know that.
Absolutely. I think we're always on time, even though maybe it's
It doesn't feel like it. Yeah.
a headache.
Yes.
Even though,
And so you got to forgive yourself. I wasn't the same person I was 40 years ago. When I was a little kid and telling that little girl she had big ears and a big nose, the rest of her life she thought she had big ears and a big nose. How can I repay that? How can I take that off my Akashic records? How can I be nice, or I can pay it forward to some other people that might run into her, or it's always about, and for it doesn't matter how big a thing. I loved how you were talking about the little things. Me opening the door for a little old lady at the grocery store is equivalent to Bill Gates donating $50 million for AIDS research. Okay. I mean, on the soul level, it's the simple stuff. It's the little stuff that are really racking up the points and putting you ahead, and made that person feel good, or saying something nice to somebody, or posting a picture of a flower on Facebook that made somebody's day. You don't know what it is, but just keep trying.
keep going at it. And just touching base really quick, some people are asking some questions.
Sure, go ahead.
We're going to start with our questions in a moment. And for everybody asking, so we're doing questions. We're not doing readings today. We have a reading show on Friday. We're doing questions. And so pop down your question and we'll take them as we come. Okay. Questions like, Steve's life or psychic mediumship experiences, or something that's gone through in your life where you'd want some clarity of a perspective. Right. So, all right, Steve, really quick, just to ice break before we go into questions. You have so many cool things behind you. Do you have one special thing that you want to share of why it's like it's with you or next to you?
Oh, I have so many malas, and I'll show you an example. This is my medicine bag. Okay.
Ooh.
When I'm doing readings, I put that on. Spirit is not allowed to contact me unless I'm wearing this medicine bag. Okay. So that's the deal I made. But there, on the same page, that's the deal I made with Spirit, so I could turn it off. So I'm not going to Walmart at 1:00 in the morning and finding some horrific thing that some young girl's going to go through, that her spirit guides are telling me. And I'm going like, whoa, I don't want to know this. I don't want to know that she's going to get raped and go through all these terrible things. and stuff. There's no way I can warn her. I don't want to know that channel. I don't even want to watch it. Okay. So that's the deal I made with Spirit. So I always have something. Another thing, like I said, I collect crystals. The first time I saw a little girl that was a medium, it had 2 crystals in her hand. I was just like snorting and going like, that's bullshit. Okay. What? And then so my spirit guide said, why don't you try that one time? And so I went to the store, bought a crystal, held it. By God, it was like hooking into a 9-volt battery, and it actually raised my levels from AM level to FM. I could hear clearer, I could hear louder. I was going like, holy shit, this works, So never disparage whatever works for you. If you're a beginning medium or whatever, screw what everybody else says. Okay. I had a medium from Arthur Finlay tell me, you don't want to have any crutches. And I said, oh, but I have so many and they work so well. Okay. So it's just whatever you learn, just take it in and just and be confident in yourself, and you're going to do fine.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. There are many helpers of the world. Why not? Right.
Yes.
When we're ready, we can move on to something different. But if it helps, it helps. Okay. So Jessie Cat is asking, so something needs to happen to us tragic, LOL, to hear spirit. I can see signs and black shadows or mist. That's some of her experiences right now.
Okay, like Gordon Smith was born psychic. Okay. John Holland had an alcoholic father that was going to beat the kids. They never knew how he was coming home. So he built up that sensitivity. Okay. I know I think most mediums probably are born with it. I know a lot of mediums. I know a cowgirl that was knocked unconscious that became a medium. I think a lot of people come mediums when someone really close and special die connected to them. And that person wants to reach out and say, keep on going, Steve, or keep on going, Kelly. And then you develop, that mediumship stuff. So if anyone was wanting to develop, I have a whole bookcase full of all the old time mediums, the Edgar Casey's, the Albert Best is my favorite medium. He's an Irish medium that his wife and daughter died during World War II. When he would give readings, he would give people's first and last name, their address, their zip code, their phone number. I'm going like, okay, that's why I'm always can get better. I won't be the best medium I am till the day before I die. You're always going to be able to get better. Always.
Yeah. when you think about those standards and some of the mediums that just yeah, like postal codes and zip codes. It happened to everybody. There's people, they're on camera and they're from the 70s or way back in the 1900s.
It seems like there's always a bunch of mediums that come in fruition whenever there was a bad war, like or like just like the COVID era that we lost 1 million people in. Okay, just like Vietnam War, World War II. Major during the Spanish flu in the 1918s. There's always somebody that needs to come around that can comfort those other people. So I think there's a reason why there's a lot of mediums, at least right now, because of all the intense pressure that everybody's on.
Yeah, the world is becoming I think the world has always been chaotic, but the world is becoming more chaotic and you need more people to really rise up and have some stability within that. And I do think when things are chaotic enough, or let's say tragic enough, it goes, your consciousness goes, is there something beyond this? There has to be. And then you go, oh, I've never looked there before. And then you're
what
like,
am I living for?
Okay.
Why should I continue on this path? Why should I continue? It gets better. You learn. I always say, even if you have a losing game or a losing hand that you're playing, play out that hand of cards, because you're going to learn something that's going to help you so much more in the next life, even if this one's like a losing battle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another question. This is a really good one, a really powerful one. I cared for my daughter through terminal cancer. Since she passed, I have seen her while awake. I've heard her. I feel her touch me. How do I make sense of what has and is happening?
I think that the easiest way to communicate with your loved ones without a medium, asking them for signs, people seeing types of birds, people hearing songs on the radio, people seeing feathers or pennies, anything that you can equate. And I always go, if that's you, show me that sign again. I have a grandfather that shows me blue jays and blue jay feathers. I have about 80 blue jay feathers. Sometimes they're on my front mat when I open the door. One time I bought a used book at a bookstore and came home, opened it up, and a blue jay feather dropped out. I mean, where
Wow.
there's a will, there's a way, and your loved one will show you that. It's just, and the only reason she's making contact is not that she's in trouble or anything. I made it. They accepted me in heaven, and everyone does. There's no hell. But I made it. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm well. My body's, the way it's supposed to be. Everything's copacetic. I just want you to know, keep carrying on. I have so many spirits that tell me, quit praying for me. I'm in paradise. I'm praying for you to get over your grief. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. She also says that her daughter sends her blue jays, like you mentioned too.
Can't make this shit up, can you?
No, no, you can't. No, you can't. She said she told me through a medium she would send me something blue, and she's been sending her blue jays. So that's
So every
seriously.
time you turn on Facebook or you turn on the TV or you walk into a restaurant and there's a painting that has a blue jay on it, or you see one in your yard, that's not necessarily her making blue jays jump through hoops to show you. It's her getting your attention to say, hey, turn right. And it's like the Jedi mind trick, okay? And you look right and you see the blue jay. That's what she's doing. It's saying, go look outside right now. Go. They'll hold you up in the car till your sign song comes in. Mine's Journey. Don't stop believing. I've heard it as a buck out song on a bull riding event at a rodeo. I've seen it as a baseball player walk up song to the batting, to the home plate. I've heard it in commercials on rock stations. I heard it in movies as movie clips at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going like, oh my God, what are the odds? It's 1,000,000 to 1, but hey, they can do it. They can perform miracles.
They can, and it's like some people come into our lives where we're the student and they're the teacher, or vice versa. And I just feel like your daughter is still teaching you things, and she's
Exactly. And I always tell people, so I went back to college at 30, got a degree in journalism, won some awards, sold a lot of horse magazines and great articles. Knowing what I do now after my accident, I don't know if I've had an original thought in my life. Your loved ones, your angels, your guides are continually giving us good ideas. And I'll get a good idea all of a sudden standing up and I'm going like, wow, what a great idea. I've got to write that down. I'm going like, where did that come from? That is so far above my pay grade. They're just no, it's divine. It's divine. So I think it's all they're opening one door and shutting another one to keep us going on our path. So if we'll just pay attention and go ahead and use that good idea that they gave you, and now I don't know, I don't have to know everything. They're gonna give it to us.
you just waiting and receiving, waiting and receiving. Um, it's profound, simple but profound. I want to go all into it. So someone's commenting on, hi, I was sleeping early one morning a few months ago, and right beside me, a little girl said, Nanny. I woke up and I looked. No one was there. I don't have a granddaughter that I know of. What could it have been?
A past life or a spirit that was connected to you some way, and that you were Nanny. One of my first encounters before I went to a medium was I had a little Chinese guy with a hood that looked like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was having a great sex dream in my head. And the guy said, Steve, you failed the test, just as loud as that. I woke up out of bed, saw that little man, figured he was an alien or something, grabbed my 357 on the Chester drawers. I'm going room by room saying, you better come out, you little son of a bitch, because I'm going to shoot your ass. Going outside, true story. It's in my book, Unforeseen. If you want to go to Amazon and read everything that ever happened to me. And then go, who the hell was it? This was the spirit guide. Okay. I screwed up in a dream. Sometimes dreams are practical experiences that we can learn from. Okay. I screwed that one up. All right.
So whether they're standing beside you or they jump into a dream. Okay, I love it. I love that perspective that, it's not as obvious as this life. It's a message from some place not as obvious as I have a granddaughter, I have a father,
exactly.
Right? Who is
it could have been a child that somebody else lost. Okay, somebody else in the family. Spirits continue to grow. If you have a stillborn child or a baby dies, they still grow in heaven. Their soul still continues to educate and grow and stuff like that.
I find too that if there hasn't been like repeated history in a house of, let's say, seeing something, that random connection is connected to the family, because the spirit connection is connected through our hearts, and there's a reason they're coming in, because they're directly connected to us in some way we don't know about, whether from a previous lifetime or current, or right. We're like, oh, I never know mom had a miscarriage.
Energy from a previous life.
Energy.
Maybe I was a Native American here in Waxahachie, Texas, that died on this place where my house is now, and that's why it felt so right to buy this house. Don't know. We
gotta listen. Yeah. Right? Takes a lifetime to know sometimes. Let's see. Jessica is also asking, what are great books or the best books for Reiki, or even books in general that you really recommend? Because you said you have a whole bookshelf of them.
Yeah, I forget her name now. It's the Healing Touch lady, Eileen. It's the biggest author of the Healing Touch lady. I think every Reiki book is going to be fine. After all the Reiki training, I'm a master Reiki teacher too, but I still like to go and touch and do the old, like you see the rip-off preachers, touch somebody and let spirit heal them. Okay. Any type of healing, the Aboriginal healing from Australia that they use, and they touch and help and heal, and even cancer patients and stuff like that. But I believe in that you can send. There's Adam, the Canadian healer, that pictures little Pac-Men eating the cancers away in the body and healing people that away. So there's tremendous amount. Anything that relates to healing, look up, read, go on YouTube, and try to get as much information as you can.
Absolutely.
Brennan? No, I don't remember. Brennan is her last name, I believe.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember her last name. There's a book too called Hands of Light, and it's by Barbara Brennan.
That's it. Okay. That's it. Love that book. Love that. I just feel, after all my Reiki training and everything, I just felt connected to that, because I can see and feel the light coming out of my hand. When I'm checking you out, like your body, if you're laying on a board and I'm scanning your body, my hands literally shake like that. Okay. And because I'm feeling that energy just kind of go through my hands. So I don't know, there's the old timers used to talk about the trembling man or the trembling hands or whatever, and that's what's happening to them, literally.
So, do you feel like electricity or heat when your hands are trembling, or
Oh
are
yeah,
you just
yeah,
like
yeah.
just kind of
No, I
stepping
feel it.
back? Or
I feel it just, and it's just bouncing back. It's just like a heat wave, or if it's cold, or if it's whatever I feel, and it's just like. And I do believe everything is frequency. Tesla is correct. Everything is light, energy. You can't. Even Einstein said you can't destroy energy. It goes on. So everything is light waves, or energy waves, or some form of electricity. So, and I think someday it's going to be like Star Trek, where the guys take the little thing and swipe it over your body, and it heals whatever's wrong with you.
it's just, yeah, I can I can only imagine, honestly. I can only imagine. Um, I really like that book that you recommended because it's like so thick.
Yeah,
She has two different books and they're both really thick. And when you open it up, it kind of like humbles you because you go, wow, there's so much. And I really think that's the perspective of being a healer, because it's just like there's so much to be taught, and it's never ending, and it can't be
no.
all fit in
And
a
it's
book.
funny how many nurses like that are working at the hospital know Reiki and know healing techniques now, but they don't bring it out. But when they're alone with their patient, they're sending them healing thoughts and healing energy.
It's just, yeah, dive in, and you'd be surprised who else is doing it too. Let me tell you. And Steve will tell you too. Um, all right, so I want to give you some comments too that people were mentioning. Diane
Sure.
says Steve's the true, authentic, tell it like it is path to our loved ones and spirit group. So she
Good.
gives you a shout out. And oh, come on, mouse. My mouse is acting funny. And there was another one too. Where is it? Someone just had a reading with you too, and they were praising you. I'm trying to
Oh,
find
good.
it.
I love recommendations. I always like the boxer. I'm a big boxing fan, and I used to be a boxer myself.
Oh, wow.
Holyfield used to say, he's the real deal," and that's what I like to say. No bullshit. I'm the real deal. I'm just going to tell you like it is. I love it when a wife that believes in what I'm doing pulls her husband in on the Zoom that I'm doing, and then all of a sudden his relatives jump through, and he's just shocked, and he's getting great evidential information after another, and you could tell he's affected by it. And I always pause and say, this shit might be real. And I love converting people. I've read for politicians, for police officers, for doctors, every walk of life in the world. And you'd say, why are you coming to a medium? They're so well educated, but they're going like, I got to know. I know there's more out there. Okay. And then it just knocks their socks off. And then I go, that's another one right there. Okay. I'm taking them one soul at a time. That one was worth 10 points. The next one was a 10,000 pointer. Okay. All of them make a difference in the world and raising the consciousness of the world.
Woo-wee, look alive, right? So I found that comment too. I want you to hear it. Renee says, this is wonderful. Renee and Rob say, this is wonderful. I had a reading with Steve Sunday. Glad to hear another psychic medium today. Can't wait to listen. So that was earlier, but I wanted to come full circle because I love reading those comments. I love patting people
like,
on the back.
I read for another medium not long ago, and her mom's side didn't come through, but the person she least wanted to hear from came through in spades. Okay, I think there's horses for different racetracks. One might be a mud runner, one might be a turf horse, one might be a dirt horse. There's mediums for different frequencies. So, like, I have some mediums that I would go to hear from my dad and my dad's side of the family, because that's the FM dial they can connect to. Other mediums I would go because they bring everyone through on my grandmother's side, on my mom's side. So just because, I've gone to a million mediums, they're all going to bring through and have a different connection that you can hear from. So I tell people, my students that I used to teach, when you would go to a circle or go listen to as many mediums as you can, because you're going to learn something from them, or you're going to get some different information that you would have been. It's because of all of my life experiences. I lived in LA, New York, Kentucky, Arkansas, Chicago, Dallas. I've seen every movie and every TV show between 1965 and now. I know all the music during that generation. I've experienced so much. You know, I used to have a boss's wife that said at the racetrack, I was a master, I was a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Well, now I'm a master, okay? And it's because of all, I have dabbled in a little of everything that I have the information. So if your loved one drank Coors Light and smoked Camel cigarettes, they're going to show me that because I was a bartender in college. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to know what brand of beer or soda pop or cigarettes or what kind of soap they used, Irish Spring or Dove or Dial or whatever, because of all those experiences you've had in your life. So that's why the spirit is looking that stuff up in the Akashic records and go, okay, we're going to recommend that she find him on the internet because he's going to get most of the shit that I want to say. But that doesn't mean other mediums can't do just as well.
Absolutely. I think you said that you have a lot more like flexibility and mastery. Where did you find yourself going as you were like developing? Like for some reason, I get a lot of dads and grandmas. I'm really good at picking up a dad and a grandma.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Where did you
always
find?
Go, and I really, to put the weight on your loved ones, okay? It's them that have all the energy, okay? So like the second time, if you come to me a year from now and I do another reading for you, your loved ones are going to be a little bit better because they're going to have more experience and they're going to have a higher energy rate and they're going to be able to flex with the frequency even better. So it doesn't matter. Sometimes I'm getting all the mom side of the family. Sometimes it's the dad. It's just because if that's their first time, that's the only energy that they've experienced with. So you learn stuff in heaven just like you're going to college in heaven right now. Okay.
Right.
You're learning new skills and new ways to communicate. Okay. It's kind of like Patrick Swayze in Ghost, how he moves that penny up the wall. You just don't learn that right away. You got to practice. Okay. So, and then the more, if you don't, when you call a medium, be open to anything. You don't have to hear your grandpa's bird dog's name to know that it's real. Be open to anything that he tells you so you can say, oh, this really is him.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love all the answers. I'm just soaking it up and I'm reading the questions too. So this is the last question. One, I'm going to give you another kudos. Someone said, Steve is amazing. My husband, Mike, and I swear by him. That's from Willie. And Kevin asks, I'm a natural healer. Source sends the energy through. Love heals. Everyone can heal by just sending high vibrational love. Steve, do you use your stones and crystals to program and store energies? Great conversation today. Thank you both.
I literally use all my crystals as a battery, okay? And just when I'm holding them to raise my energy up. Like I say, holding a crystal for me, it's like drinking 3 Mountain Dews. I'm off the rails, okay? So, and it's all about the energy, okay? Eventually, I got to sleep at night, okay? Take it down, because I don't go to bed till like 2 or 3 in the morning. So take it down, okay? But yeah, you can tune in your crystals. You're going to have different crystals and different stones that are going to have different healing frequencies that'll heal different things. Some of them will be for your mind. Some of them will be for physical ailments. Some of them are going to be for different things. So anything that works, any type of, it's kind of funny. When I was a kid growing up, and I didn't know this, I thought every kid at 8 years old learned from their grandfather how to witch water wells. Okay. My grandfather's father did it for a living in the panhandle of Texas and New Mexico, divining water wells and oil wells for money. My grandmother that had 10 brothers and sisters raised in Arkansas brother and father did it for a living in Arkansas. Had no idea. I thought every kid knew how to go out in the front yard and find out which sprinkler was the one that wasn't working by using the divining rod that they cut out of the peach tree or the willow tree. Okay. I just thought that was common knowledge. So I know that's in everybody's bloodstream. I think the older, I tell everyone, look at your family tree. I think the more old blood you have, the more Irish, the more African, the more Spanish, the more Italian, you're getting that from somewhere, and it's from past experiences that you're you're born this way with different energies and different skills. Some are going to be the greatest, and some are just going to be average. But even being average is better than everybody else.
There's so much that our ancestors, can give us perspective on. And, Kevin too, Steve earlier pulled out some crystals. He was talking about them and how he uses them. So you can kind of scroll back to, he was talking about those that you pulled out a quartz, right? Too?
This my most powerful crystal's a little one. It's a Guerrero amethyst.
Nice.
It's a little purple, that has multiple other little crystals growing on it. They're kind of expensive because the mine shut down in Mexico. Okay, Guerrero, Mexico. The cartel owns it now, so they're kind of hard to get, but you'll find them. There's still plenty around. One more thing I tell people. So instead of just praying to God, ask your angels, ask your spirit guides, ask your loved ones for help. I ask him if I'm running late for a doctor's appointment and I need a parking place, for God's sakes. I'll say, hey, guys, I need some help. Give me some help, okay? And as soon as I get there, there's a car pulling out in front of the front door, and I get that parking place, and I said, oh, thank you so much. It may not have meant a whole lot, but it was, you got to ask. You got to ask for the help, whether it's healing, or you're asking for a good grade on your thank God for the guides that got me through high school. Besides my cheating skills, they helped me get through every class. You got to ask them though to receive help.
Heck yeah. I remember in high school, just like, small things that, just to go on off of what Steve is mentioning, for some, I have no idea why, but when I was in high school, I'd constantly lose my pens and pencils. I don't know why. And so, going to a class, just walking, I would say, hey, Spirit, can you just show me a pen or pencil on the floor? And there would always be one random pen or pencil on the floor that I would pick up, and I would take it with me, and I would use it as I needed.
Exactly. And that's the way in everything in our life, that hopefully that you're going to attain, and the information or the skill or the healing, whatever, just ask, and they're going to be there for you.
Just ask, and they'll show you the stones along the way. Yeah, I love all the stones that you've been bringing up, Steve. I have just one that is sitting actually in my lap too. I just have a citrine, and then I'm not even touching it, but some selenite. So excellent. I'm a big fan. I love talking about stones, and you pulled out a type of amethyst I've never seen before. So I love it. Thank you again, Kevin and Steve. Before we go, is there just you sprouting out wisdom all the full time, but is there something just, I guess, that is on your mind that you want to make sure that you say before you leave, whether it's something small or insightful?
Thank you for doing this. So I'm always that person that, when I first figured out that these are dead people talking to me, that I found John Edwards scanning through 250 cable channels at 3:00 in the morning. And then I started watching this show, and I bought his book, and I went to the psychic fair. If you just reach that one person by doing this telecast, this channel right here, you don't know where that information, how it bounces from one person to another. Okay, how it gets to the right place at the right time. I don't believe in accidents. Everything happens for a reason. Just try to educate yourself on why it may have happened. Why did I lose my child? Why did this happen to me? Why didn't I get that job? Why did I get fired at this time? Whatever it is, there's going to be a reason, and there's always going to be a blessing, or someone's changing, turning your page so you can learn something else out in your life. Okay. One time, just a real short story. I was in Florida and I was going to see all the different mediums from at one of the big conferences. And I was sitting in with like 60 people, and Spirit kept on making me looking at this lady and saying, she's not going to need a reading, but a friend of hers is going to need a reading really bad. It's really, really serious. So after that class, I went up to her and I said, listen, I'm not hitting on you. There's my wife right there. Okay. Here's my business card. I'm signing it. You're not going to need the reading, but someone in 6 months is going to be in dire need of a reading. And I gave her my business card. 3 months later, she wrote me and said, no one's come forward. No one's come forward. I don't know what you're talking about. So I tapped in. It's still for you. It's still going to happen. 3 months later, the girl whose father died across the street from them, they went over there to help her move. And she was talking about, I saw this thing about angels and people going to heaven and a medium like named John Edward. I wonder if that stuff's really true. So the girl pulled my card out, gave it to her. She called me up. I gave her a free hour reading.
Wow.
One of the best, most incredible John Edward type readings ever given. And bam, 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 for a straight hour, just evidential information after another. And it just kind of saved her life. But
Wow.
but he hadn't even died before my guides told me to give my card to that woman. So it's kind of like they know what's going to happen. They know who's going to win the next 10 Super Bowls. They're sure as hell not going to tell me because I drove to Vegas. Okay. So just know there's things, possibilities in the future that are going to happen. And we don't know. You're going to find your soulmate. You're going to find true love. You're going to find something that's going to make you really happy. You're going to make a difference in somebody else's life. Just keep moving forward and let life happen, kind of.
Absolutely. Steve, on that note, where can people find you? What's the best place, like a website or?
I've got two Facebook sites. Steve Spur, one's my professional, one's my personal. I put the same stuff up on both of them. I'm at Steve Spur, SPUR1R.com. So I have a YouTube page. Look at some of my videos, some of the readings I've done. Everybody has a medium that's going to be the best for them. And it's no accident. I don't believe in accidents. Why people find Kelly and me and like someone's grandmother's right now, having somebody on the other side of the globe going through Facebook and going through the internet to find Kelly because they know Kelly's going to give more information about her and her family than any other medium in the world. So you're going to go, I don't know why I picked you. And I always say, I do, because your grandfather knows, I'm an ass. So is he. That's why we're connecting. Okay.
Well, I know why I picked you as a guest, because you're amazing. And people are saying the same. Just there's so much love for you, and thank you so much, Steve. You're a hoot. You really are. I love your energy. It's a pleasure. In Steve's words, keep moving forward, everybody. And with that said, go with love, luck, and light. And don't forget to live, everyone. Take care. Have a fantastic week. It's been a pleasure, Steve.
Amen.
Amen.